We are sitting in the Dan Gable Museum and Training Center, and they're going through a huge renovation here. I don't know how much you can see behind us, but training facility, fantastic museum here in Waterloo. Beautiful sauna. If you're in Waterloo, be sure to stop here because it's fantastic.
And it's going to be better because where we're sitting right now is mostly just you look at things on the walls. We're bringing in computers. We're bringing in kiosks. We're bringing in stuff that's going to give us a lot more ability to not just come here once and leave and see it all. You're going to have to come here about 100 times.
Yeah. Dan, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for several years. Not only a great chance to learn about the tremendous success you've had in your career athletically and as a coach and as a business motivational speaker, but I also was fascinated to learn the passion you have for sauna, and wanted to just chat with you a bit about what sauna has meant to you in your life and in your career and right up to today. You're a rare person with the incredible success you've had in your career in all aspects, and very pleased to know that you feel sauna has been a part of that.
Well, believe it or not, there's a reason that success is there, and a sauna is part of that reason. And people got to understand that. And people that don't think that, I'm telling you, they're missing the boat. And it's a routine that's a good one. It's a healthy one. And, I just think that it gives you that extra time to really be analytical and relax, recover, get ready for more. And I tell you what, my teams, when they went to battle, when they went to war on a wrestling mat, it's because they were able to train harder than the other teams. They recovered quicker. We had day-to-day better training because we had those sessions, and that makes a huge difference. So another team might get 5 hours of training in, a hard training. We might have got 10 hours of training in. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. As I got older, the sauna became a way of life for me. And I really didn't understand it. I'd have a practice, but after activity, it was like, it felt so good.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a massage. But in wrestling, you're straining and you're using every muscle from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And then all of a sudden, you're done. And, they always talk about cooling down and everything, but a lot of people say, well, why would you go to a sauna? Because that's heat. Well, I went to the sauna because it felt really good. And besides feeling really good, I could relax and I could think and I could kind of go over that last 2 hours or the whole day or tomorrow, but I got organized. I learned a lot about the sauna and that type of activity. Once I became a coach, I started to understand it a little bit more, and so then I started applying it to not only myself, but to my team. And as an athlete, people followed me because I was winning a lot.
Yes.
And being successful. And all of a sudden, my teammates, instead of just going from the practice room right to the shower room, all of a sudden they saw where I was spending time in an activity like the sauna, and then they saw me go into the showers, and I'd turn the showers on. And usually when I come out of the sauna, I'd be hot, like I come out of the wrestling room, and I'd turn the cool water on. It felt really good. And then I'd go back in the sauna, and I'd spend probably another 45 to an hour going from hot to cold to relaxing and thinking and understanding what took place and what I did that day and what I want to do tomorrow. So I was really staying ahead of the game. Once I started to become more of an Olympic athlete, I started seeing some other things around the world, especially Europeans, that was always a part of their training. For me, it was a really good edge. And I learned it through trial and error, but as a coach, I understood it and I started reading up on it. I actually go to the studies and I read the studies, and I learned to really love them. You know what, I loved them not only because it made me feel good, it also brought me back to my training quicker, and I had to learn this later. Nobody could understand why I could go and be ready to go again 2 hours after my training session, where everybody else had to wait 24 hours. Well, I was doing what's called recovery. I got another book coming out here pretty soon, and I have a chapter in there in that book. It's called the Truth Serum. Believe it or not, I think part of my coaching tactics was sitting in the sauna with the athletes, and all of a sudden the heat would, you're not supposed to talk a lot, but can be some communication in there. And usually what you hear is what you want to hear from a coaching point of view. You hear real facts. You hear the truth. It kind of brings the best out of you.
When you're in the sauna.
Yeah, you will not lie.
This truth serum about getting in a sauna, I've often felt like some of the best conversations a person has is in a sauna, whether it's with your wife or a close friend or colleagues. Something about being in that quiet, warm space seems to take away some of the inhibitions and get that more open dialogue.
I honestly believe that it's a huge edge when used properly. I think for people that have skin-to-skin contact, I mean, you go into a shower, you take a hot shower, you soap up good, you got all this bacteria and stuff like that, and that's good, and I think you do that. But you know what? I think a trip to the sauna with 170 to 80 degrees heat and sitting in there is actually going to eliminate some of that potential bacteria.
Yeah, it cleans out the pores.
Yeah, and oh, you're sweating good.
Yeah.
People need a good sweat. I love the waking up to it. Because, you know, sometimes you get up in the morning, you're groggy, you take a shower, you're still there. There's nothing like a good sweat in the morning to wake you up and get you alert and get ready for the day. And there's nothing like a good sweat at the end of the day to have you relax. Yeah. So I think it's bookends here.
Yeah, that's a really interesting comment. People who do morning saunas do say what you said, that you'll never quit doing it because it feels so good.
Now, exercise makes you sweat hard, but you know, as you get older, sometimes you might not be able to exercise as hard as you would like to be able to really profusely sweat.
Yes.
And you add this to your exercise routine. You know, for me, it's a must.
I remember, Dan, you told me once before at the collegiate level you see sauna for recovery after intense workouts, but also for team building. That the sauna provides.
Well, if you get a big enough sauna, you get more than 2 people in there, and you have a lot of space in there. I'll tell you what, yes, you do team bonding in there. People become each other. Learn to know each other, and you know the thing that a sauna that people don't understand is that if you don't have it hot enough, and you go in there and just sit in there and it just makes you hot and warm. It might feel good, but it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. I go into a hotel sauna or something. Sometimes they might only have 1 tier at the you know, the heat rises. I don't know if they know that, but usually in a sauna you want to be able to be at different levels, and between the combination of the heat and the water on the rocks, which you gotta learn. You gotta get educated.
Yeah.
But no, I get disappointed sometimes when I'm traveling, because I travel a lot. I stay 50 days a year in a hotel room. And I usually try to pick out a place that has a sauna. And you say, well, we got an exercise room, use that. Well, you know, that's part of my routine, the exercise. And some days, an old wrestler like me, I might be beat up a little bit sometimes. I've had a few surgeries in my day, and maybe they operated too quick on me back in the old days, who knows? I think the best thing that I can do is get educated. In fact, right now at the University of Iowa, we've had some studies on the sauna. It's Dr. Richard Shields.
Yes.
He has some studies out, and I think they're really good. And he's showing why you should use them and how you should use them and what they can do. You know, I mean, people, believe it or not, as you get older, and I'm getting up there. You know, even though I'm probably as healthy as a 29-year-old on a cardiovascular situation. My joints, they're getting older, and I got to keep them muscles up. And sometimes, I have to make a decision. Do I really want to use the exercise machine and get sore, or wear that joint out, or do I just want to go into a nice hot sauna where I can get my heart rate elevated and I can sit there and I'm not actually hurting my body in any way. And so I'm going to be, maybe tomorrow I can exercise.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was really a fascinating study that Dr. Shields did, and I was proud our company could be part of the study with the sauna. But Dr. Shields explained as he was studying quadriplegics, he noticed when the core body temperature heated up in the people he was working with because they don't sweat well, or maybe don't sweat at all, that he noticed some of these enzymatic changes taking place in the body that seem to relate to heating that core body temperature. And I know you and Dr. Shields talked about this theory that using a sauna, whether you're a highly conditioned athlete or maybe even a couch potato, that you may be able to get benefits with this regular sauna bathing and sweating. And his research seems to be bearing that out, that there are these positive changes, physiological changes in your body with regular sauna bathing.
No, actually, absolutely. And I believe that, and it's mostly because I've used them for the last 60 years. So as you get older, especially for the older people, which kind of depends on how you live your lifestyle. When an old wrestling coach like me, I feel good now, but don't think I don't have a sauna everywhere I go. 2 fishing cabins, home. In fact, at home I got the wood burner and the electric. I got 2 wood burners at the fishing cabins I have, and they're on bodies of water, and I enjoy the heck out of them.
Yeah.
I don't go anywhere unless I can find some heat, but I also like cold. I mean, after the heat, you get the cold plunges.
Yeah.
That's why you got the lakes.
Yes.
And that's why they're popular in Finland. That's why they're popular in Minnesota, in Michigan, Wisconsin. But they should be popular all over, everywhere. No, even in the heat, because people say, well, it's hot out here, I'm sweating outside. Well, if you've got a job and you're working outside and it's 90 degrees, 100 degrees, that's good. And you're sweating good. But you know what? You go home that night and recover in the sauna, believe it or not. People need to know that the health benefits are unbelievable. Nothing's going to replace the sauna for me. It's a tool for me. It's a tool of health. And I know that people shouldn't smoke. But it's like they say, for every cigarette you smoke, it takes that much time off your life. And I always say, for every sauna you take, it adds that much time back to your life.
Yeah.
And if you can't exercise, at least sauna. Because not only will you have heart rate increase and like a workout, but you're taking that stuff out of you, them impurities.
Yeah.
And the fact that, if nothing else, you know that you feel better.
Yes.
And when you know you feel better, you know something's going right.
So, Dan, you talked about using sauna when you were a wrestler in high school and college, and as a coach, you used sauna as part of the training regimen for your student athletes, and for recovery and even the social part of it, the team building. Now at this stage of your life, I understand you still use sauna virtually every day, sometimes more than once a day.
Well, usually I like it twice.
Yeah.
First thing I do in the morning is when I wake up, I usually find my way out. I got a little cabin in my backyard now too, and it's where I kind of do my work, and I have a little not wrestling facility, but a workout room in there, and then I got a sauna in there and a steam, believe it or not. And so I usually, that's how I clean up in the morning, between that and getting in a shower and getting ready to do some work. And then by the middle afternoon or late afternoon, I still like to exercise. So, but I usually sauna in the morning and I sauna in the afternoon, late afternoon, almost daily.
Yeah.
I've got one of them done so far today, and I'm looking forward to my workout and sauna later on. It does actually do health benefits, believe it or not. I mean, it's just enough out there. I'm living proof. People are living proof.
Yeah, sometimes people say look better, feel better, sleep better. There's just a combination of benefits, and as you say, you're living proof. Your career and your student athletes, it's quite an example. The one of the saunas, your personal saunas, as I said, is really the ultimate one sauna room with a wood burner and an electric heater in one. So if like you explained to me, if you have the time, you'll do the wood burner, which is a very special sauna experience. But other times, if time is less available, you can do the electric.
I'm not the perfect healthy guy when it comes to eating and what I drink. You know, you should drink a lot of water, which I do, but I also like Mountain Dew. I'm even drinking beer once in a while. I don't smoke. I might eat a donut, might have a hamburger, pizza, you know. And so it's kind of like when I'm doing my healthy lifestyle from a training point of view and the sauna or steam, it's like that's kind of a reward for me. And sometimes I might want to skip something like part of my routine, but I won't, because I know I'm going to do something stupid a little later on and get away from my good diet. Maybe wake up and have a good chocolate donut or something. I had these wrestlers that like turn everything off during wrestling season, and then turn everything on in the off season. So I'm not like that. I like a year-round system. So because I thought when they turned everything off, that means they eliminated this, eliminated that, eliminated this, and then they went crazy in the off season. So that well-balanced stuff, even though maybe donuts are good for you, but you know what? If you have a donut once in a while, it's not too bad. And I know saunas are always good for you.
Yes.
It's really a great tool. It should be utilized in almost every way of life.
I think you're also a good example of regular sauna bathing, just like regularly working out. It's
I don't miss
sort of
a
a cumulative effect, almost like interest on your money in the bank. You do it regularly and you have these cumulative benefits.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah, I think so, because I know that if I haven't gotten my exercise in, and I'm driving in a car down the road and it's past when I normally do, a couple hours, my legs start shaking. It's almost like I'm addicted. And, well, addiction's not good, right? Of course. Well, addiction's not good to bad things, but addiction to good things, that's good.
Yes.
Hey, I like my wife. I'm kind of addicted to her, I like my saunas. I'm addicted to it. And those are good things, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, that's lots of really fascinating thoughts, Dan. Kind of hard to even summarize everything, but you pointed out recovery from intense workouts. Mm-hmm. One of the benefits. You talked about the relaxation and disengaging your mind a little bit, or preparing for the next challenge ahead of you. The team building aspect. Dr. Shields' study with the importance of deep sweating and the positive
That's key.
physiological effects. Well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Keith.